Hello, second grade Smarties, and welcome to lesson 20 of our module 1, A Season of Change. So, we are going to be starting a new book today, and I can't wait to see what we learn. I'm thinking it might be about change and a certain season. Let's find out. All right, so we're going to start with our big pizza question, and that is, how does change impact people and nature? So how does change, it can be in our lives, it can be a change in season. How does that affect us? What do we have to do when there is change? Our focus question is, how does weather impact, and Miss Mason's realizing there's a mistake. Teachers make mistakes too. So this focus question is supposed to be, how does weather impact leaves in fall? Ooh, leaves in the season of fall. All right, that might give us a hint about our book. And our pizza bite question is, what do I notice and wonder about how do leaves change color? So far we have read 3 books. And the first book was How Do You Know It's Fall? And that was a book that gave us information. We read The Little Yellow Leaf, and that was a book that told a story. And the last book we just read was A Color of His Own, and that was a book that told a story. So in the Edpuzzle, or maybe you're using this video at home or you're watching it as a class. If you are, hello. It's nice to see you. We are going to answer some questions. Now, my friends are going to use Edpuzzle, but if you're in a class or if you're at home, pause the video and talk about it, okay? All right. So in the Edpuzzle, I want you to tell me, what did all of these books have in common? What is one thing they all talk about? What is the same with each of these books? Tell me in the Edpuzzle. So all of these books talked about seasons, the little yellow leaf, and the chameleon going through change, right? So maybe you said that all of these talk about change, or maybe you said something about all of them, even if it was a book that told a story, talks about the season of fall, right? So we talk about things that were the same in these 3 books. What is something that is different with these books? Tell me in the Edpuzzle. Pause the video and tell me, what is different? What was different with these books? So I said it just a minute ago, but something that is different is that one of these books gave information. So How Do You Know It's Fall was a book that gave us information about the topic of fall, right? And our other 2 books were books that told a story that had a main character, a setting, a problem, and a resolution. Something else that you could have said was different is one book talked about an animal. Well, actually, we had 2 books that talked about animals and one book that just talked about leaves. You could say that 2 of the books had the season of winter in it, and this book did not talk about winter. Well, it did talk about winter, but we did not see the season of winter in this book. So I can't wait to hear or see what you guys said that you thought was the same and different with these 3 books. Today, we are going to be reading a new book. Maybe. Let's see. Miss Mason's thing is being funky. There we go. So we are going to be reading a new book called Why Do Leaves Change Color? So looking at this book, I want you to think, what are some things that you notice? So what are some things that you see on the cover of this book? And what are some questions that you might have? I notice that there are 2 drawings of children on this book. So they're kind of cartoons, right? So I see two drawings of kids. So I wonder, will this book tell a story? But I also notice that my title asks a question. Why do leaves change color? So I notice that, and it makes me wonder, will this book give us information or will it tell a story? And so as we are reading this, it's important to remember, and I'm going to give you a little hint, is we will use this book to investigate why leaves change in fall. So we're going to be talking about the science, and in my copy it says science. Let's read and find out. It's going to tell us all about why leaves change color. So, why do leaves change color? Look at the leaves. It's autumn, and leaves are turning red and yellow, gold and brown. Each type of tree has its own kind of leaves. The colors of autumn leaves differ from tree to tree. Some oak leaves may be brown or yellow, while maple leaves may turn bright red. Leaves come in different sizes and shapes as well as colors. Some leaves are wide and others are narrow. Some have points while others may be rounded. How many different kinds can you find? So, right here we have a sugar maple, a red maple, a tulip tree leaf, silver maple, black birch, white oak, sassafras, Norway maple, gray birch, and a red oak. So different trees have different types of leaves. Just a few weeks ago, all the leaves were green. Back in the spring, the tiny new leaves uncurled from their buds. The green color in the leaves helps them to absorb or hold sunlight. Chlorophyll gives the leaves their green coloring. Chlorophyll is a natural coloring called a pigment. So this is the inside of a leaf, and that green is from chlorophyll. So here's the chlorophyll. Here's air space, here's the upper surface in the vein of a leaf. Leaves are very important to the tree. They make a kind of sugar that is the tree's food. Leaves need sunlight, water, and air to make this food. The leaves work to feed the tree all summer long. The sugar is used by all parts of the tree: the leaves, branches, trunk, and roots. The food or sugar helps the tree grow. Extra sugar is stored in the leaves. In the fall, many things are changing. In many places, there is a change in the weather. There are changes in light and temperature. Inside the leaves, there will be many changes too. All of these changes bring about the beautiful colors of fall. In the fall, there are fewer hours of sunlight each day. The change in light tells the tree to get ready for winter. Winter is a time of rest for the tree. When winter comes, the tree will have to survive with less water and sunlight. The tree begins to get ready for its winter rest. It needs very little food now, and the leaves stop their work. The life of the leaves is almost at an end. The tree no longer needs them. When the leaves die, they will fall from the tree. This will happen slowly over a number of weeks. As the leaves begin to separate from the tree, they get less water. Without water, the leaves cannot make new chlorophyll. The old chlorophyll begins to fade. The green color starts to disappear. Now, other colors can be seen in the leaves. Other pigments have been in the leaves all along, but they were hidden by the dark green of the chlorophyll. Once the green colors fade, the yellow and orange pigments can be seen. These pigments give color to the leaves of birches, poplars, and elms. Some food, like bananas and carrots, get their natural yellow and orange coloring from these same pigments. They also give color to some flowers. Maybe you can think of some. Autumn leaves have other colors as well. The yellows and orange have been in the have been in the leaves all along. Other pigments are made as the leaves begin to die. These new pigments are made from the extra sugar stored in the leaves. Sunlight causes the stored sugar to change pigment. The new pigments make some leaves turn red, rust, or purple. The more sugar there is, the brighter the colors will be. Bright days and cool nights seem to bring out the best fall colors. So all the extra sugar that the leaves create from that chlorophyll, as the sun begins to set earlier and we lose that green color, you get new colors from it. Maple leaves get their red colors from these new pigments. Many flowers and some foods, such as beets and radishes, get their color from these red pigments. The brilliant red of sumac leaves shows up only in the fall when these pigments form. Some trees, like oaks, make tannin in the fall. Tannin is not a pigment, but it does color the leaves. Some oak leaves turn a rich brown color in autumn. See if you can find some. You may still be able to see some green coloring too. The changing color of autumn leaves is caused by changes in weather and light. This is why the colors are not the same every year. The best leaf colors usually come with lots of bright sunshine and crisp, clear nights. Too much rain may make the colors dull. An early frost may kill the leaves too soon. Evergreen trees like pines and spruces keep their leaves all year. But in cool climates, other trees must lose their leaves to survive in winter. After the leaves have changed color, they are ready to separate from the tree. When they are just barely hanging on, a little bit of wind or rain will make them fall to the ground. In just a short time, the tree will begin to look bare. Piles of dead leaves collect under the tree. Some will blow away, others will be raked up. The leaves that are left will begin to rot. Over time, they will become part of the soil. Rotting leaves enrich the soil with minerals the tree needs to stay healthy. When the last of the leaves have fallen, the tree is ready for winter. During the cold weather, the tree will be dormant or resting. New leaf buds have already formed. Next spring, they will open and begin to make food for the tree. But now in fall, it's time to enjoy the colors of the leaves. Beautiful autumn foliage cannot be seen everywhere. Only some places, such as New England, have displays of many colors. This is because the weather conditions there are usually just right, and there are so many different kinds of trees. Fall is a time to have fun with leaves. It's a time to take in the sights and sounds of the leaves. It's a time for jumping into great piles of leaves, and then sometimes a time for raking them up. Fall is a time to get ready for winter. The trees are ready. Are you? All right. And we have some activities in the back that we will be exploring tomorrow. So exciting. So, the first thing we do with any book is we talk about what we noticed the first time reading it and what we wondered. So, let's think back to when we were exploring this book. What are some things that you noticed in the book? What are some things that you saw or maybe heard over and over again? I'm going to think out loud for you as you are thinking about your notices. I noticed in this illustration, there's a flock of birds. What do birds do during fall? They migrate. So I noticed that this illustration and all of the illustrations had things that we've already learned about with changes in fall. I also noticed that some leaves can have two colors at one time. So, so sometimes colors will take on those bright pigments and some of it will still stay green. So I noticed that. I also noticed that this book talked about information about leaves. So is this an informational book or a book that tells a story? It's an informational book. So in the Ed Puzzle, tell me 2 notices that you had in the book. What are 2 things you noticed or saw or heard in the book? All right, so after we talk about things that we saw in this book, we talk about questions that we might have, and we call those wonders. So, what are some questions that you have about this book? Think about words that you might not know that you heard, or think about questions that talk about fall and changing seasons. Remember, our question words are where, when, what, why, how, and who. Okay, so think about some wonders that you have. I'm going to think out loud for you. I wonder, do all leaves look the same inside? So this was an illustration about what the inside of a leaf looks like. So my question is, does does the inside of a leaf look the same in a maple tree and a fir tree? So that's a wonder that I had. Another wonder I had was, let me get to that page. My other wonder is, where is New England? So these pages were talking about how some places do not get those really pretty fall colors because they don't have the right temperatures, they don't have the right climate for it. So I wonder, where is New England? And how or when should I visit to see these fall colors? All right, so those were 2 wonders that I had. What are 2 wonders you had? What are 2 questions you might have? Think about some funky words that we heard that you don't know the meaning of. Think about questions that you might have had about the illustrations. Tell me your 2 wonders. All right, so after we have noticed and wondered, we can start exploring how to read and use vocabulary for understanding our book. So we have an activity right here, and it says read page 11, then answer these questions. Use the words to complete the sentences correctly. So with informational books, we will have vocabulary that we have to use in the correct way to understand the meaning. So it asked us to go back to page 11 in the book, and we are going to complete these blanks with these words. All right. Here we go. It says, leaves are very important to the tree. They make a kind of sugar that is the tree's food. Leaves need sunlight, water, and air to make this food. The leaves work to feed the tree all summer long. The sugar is used by all parts of the tree: the leaves, branches, trunk, and roots. The food or sugar helps the tree to grow. Extra sugar is stored in the leaves. All right, so let's look at number 1 on our handout. And you guys are going to fill in the blanks with me in the Ed Puzzle. It says leaves need blank and blank to make blank for the tree. I wonder if I could go back in my text and look for these words to help me fill in my blanks. I'm going to go and look for where it says leaves need. Do you see it? Leaves need sunlight, water, and air to make this food for trees. So in the Ed puzzle, tell me, what do leaves need to make food for the trees? Leaves need blank and blank. Do leaves need leaves to make food for the trees? No. Do they need grow? No. Do they need water? Do they need sugar or do they need sun? Leaves need blank and blank to make food for the tree. To make sugar for the tree. I'm sorry, guys. That was my fault. To make sugar for the tree. Okay, so I'm going to read that one more time. Leaves need sunlight, water, and air to make this food. Okay, now let's look at number 2. So in the Ed puzzle, you should have told me leaves need water and sun to make sugar for the tree. All right, number 2 says sugar made by the blank helps the tree blank. So let's go back in the text and see if we can find some words to help us fill in these blanks. Sugar made by the Ooh, let's go up here. I see a kind of sugar that is the tree's food. So I'm going to look up here. Leaves are very important to the tree. They make a kind of sugar that is the tree's food. Leaves need sunlight, water, and air to make this food. The food or sugar helps the tree to grow. Extra sugar is stored in the leaves. So sugar is made by the blank to help the tree do what? Tell me in the Ed puzzle. Sugar made by the leaves, grow, water, sugar, sun. So sugar made by the blank helps the tree blank. What is the sugar made by? Sugar made by the leaves helps the tree grow. I used my book to help find those answers. And friends, you're going to see this a lot when you are in science classes, when you are in social studies. You will use information books to help you understand and find information about a topic. So this fill in the blank activity was using vocabulary and our knowledge about this topic to help us answer those questions. All right, second grade Smarties, I hope that you have some time to go outside and see if you have any trees that are starting to change color. As always, make sure to keep that growth mindset. Remember, good learners do hard things, and I will see you all very soon. Bye, guys.